Alright, this tutorial is the second video that covers properties of trapezoids and kites. The first video covered the actual characteristics. So if you haven't seen that one, you might want to review that one before stepping into this one. So this is going to cover the problems from 5.3b. So the first 4 problems cover trapezoids, and the last 4 cover kites. So when solving problems that involve trapezoids, you want to first ask yourself if it is a scalene or an isosceles trapezoid. Remember, a scalene trapezoid is a trapezoid in which the legs are not congruent. A isosceles trapezoid is a trapezoid in which the legs are congruent. And the way you'll know that whether or not it's isosceles is it'll either say it in the question, or it will, is it right here, or it will be marked. So for number 1, it doesn't say that it's an isosceles, so we know it's going to be scalene, and it doesn't matter whether it's scalene or isosceles because the 2 consecutive angles, regardless of the type of trapezoid, are going to be supplementary. So angle S plus angle V are going to equal 180. So you would set up the equation like this. So we would just be 14x minus 15 plus 139 equals 180, and solve for x. It's pretty simple. Okay, for number 2, it's asking us to find all 4 of the angles. Okay, so we remember that it tells us it's an isosceles trapezoid, so angle V is going to be congruent to angle U. So once we find V, we'll have U, and angle S is going to be congruent to T. So once we have T, we'll have S. Now, we know that opposite angles of an isosceles trapezoid are supplementary. So angle V plus angle T are going to equal 180. So we'll have 14x minus 25 plus 3x plus 1 equals 180. So we'll solve for x. Then once we get x, we're going to plug x back into here to get angle V. So angle V and angle U are going to be the same thing. So again, solve for x, plug it back into here. That will give us angle V and angle U. These will be the same. And then once we get x, we're going to plug back into this expression for angle T, and that will give us this angle, which is going to be the same as this angle. So these 2 are going to be the same, and those 2 will be the same. So again, use this equation to solve for x. Once we get x, plug it back into this expression. That will give us V and U, and then we plug it into this expression. That will give us T and S. Okay. All right, for number 3, it's asking us it tells us it's isosceles, and it says we need to solve for x and y. So we are given that EH, this leg of the trapezoid, is 4x minus 27. We are given that FG is x plus 9. We are also given that the diagonal is 3y minus 19, this diagonal, and this diagonal is 11y minus 21. So this one's going to be pretty simple. So the 2 legs of an isosceles trapezoid are going to be congruent. So EH equals FG. So our equation is going to be 4x minus 27, we'll go on the left side, equals x plus 9 on the right side. And you'll just solve for x. So for y, it gives us the 2 diagonals, so we set the 2 diagonals equal to each other. So FH, 11y minus 21 equals EG, 3y plus 19. So all you do for both of these is just plug all 4 of those expressions right into there and solve for x, solve for y. Pretty straightforward. All right, for number 4, this is going to be a mid-segment problem, and for mid-segment, remember it's the actual formula is that the mid-segment is going to be congruent or equal to both of the parallel sides added together and divided by 2. That's the same thing as the mid-segment times 2 equals the 2 parallel sides added together. So it's 2 times GH equals BC plus FE. And all you do is just plug GH, 9x minus 3, into here. Plug BC, which is 19, into here. And plug FE, which is 5x plus 1, into there. And you just solve for x. And then once we get x, we're going to plug x back into here, and that will give us GH. So again, it's a straight plug and chug. GH is 9x minus 3, so 2. Don't forget to multiply it by 2. 2 times 9x minus 3, so that'll be 18x minus 6 equals 19 plus 5x plus 1. Solve for x. And once we get x, we plug it back into here, and that's going to give us GH. All right, so the last 4 problems are going to be kite problems. And with kite problems, what we've got to do is, once we basically want to figure out all of these angles right here, and I've got lines that are going to point to what angles are congruent to what. So for 5, we need to determine all of these angles, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's not difficult. You need to keep in mind that all 4 angles here are 90 degrees. Okay, so what we'll do is, we know that, so since this is 90, so 6 is going to be 90 minus 43. That'll be 6. And we know that 6 is going to be the same thing as 3. So we would do 90 minus 43 to get 6, which is right here. And that's also going to be 3. So 3 and 6 are going to be congruent. And then we do the same thing here. That's 18. So we know that's 90. So 90 minus 18 is going to be 72, so that's 72, so we know that that's 18, 18, 18, so 72 and 72, and then we know that that's going to be, what, 47, so that's 47 and 47, and so we know that's 43 and that's 43, so that's pretty easy. For number 6, it's pretty much the same thing. It's asking us for this whole angle right here, okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to figure out what this angle is and what this angle is, and then we're going to add them together to get what we're looking for right there. So we can solve for, we're going to have to solve for x. So to solve for x, this is 90, so we know that this plus this is 90, so we would do JIF plus IFJ equals 90, okay, and then that's going to solve for x, so we'll get a value for x, and then we'll plug x into here. And that's going to give us this angle. So then once we find this angle, we can add them together. Now, while we know that this is 46, we know that that's 46, so we can figure this angle out by subtracting 90 minus 46. So we know that this angle is going to be 44. So then once we get x and plug it into there, all we do is take 44 plus whatever we get here, add those together, and that's going to give us our total for HIF. Again, to recap, we know that this angle is 46 because these are congruent. So to get this angle right here, we do 90 minus 46. So that's going to be 44. So that's this angle right here. And once we get this angle, we can add these two together. Okay, so to solve for x, we're going to do, since this is 90, that means that this plus this equals 90. So 7x plus 3 plus 2x plus 6 equals 90. Solve for x. Whatever we get for x, we plug it back into there. And then once we get x, we have a value for this, add that to the 44 we had there, and that's going to give us this whole angle, HIF. All right. So last 2 for 7. All right, 7, we are, it's asking us to find QT. Okay, so both of these problems are going to be Pythagorean theorem problems. With kite, it's going to usually involve Pythagorean theorem, so a squared plus b squared equals c squared, which I'm going to write right here just to, okay. So what's going to happen is it's asking us to find QT. So it's asking us to find, so we're going to have QT right there as A. Okay, this actually should say squared. That should say squared. Okay. It gives us PT right here. So this is congruent to that. So TR is the same as PT. So we know, so that's going to be 8. So 8 will be right here. We're looking for QT squared. And then QR is 13. So we know that that's 13. So 13 is going to be there. 8 is going to be there. So it'll be x squared plus 8 squared equals 13 squared. And you just do the Pythagorean theorem from there. Okay. For number 8. All right, pretty much the same thing. Again, we're going to find LM, so we're finding the hypotenuse. So we're finding this right here. So we should be able to figure out NM from what we're given here and NL. So NM is this diagonal right here. We're actually given KM. The whole length is 52, so NM is half of this whole length. So 52 divided by 2 is 26, so 26 will be right here. Okay, and L we're actually given in the problem, so we're given this, so we had to figure this out by dividing this by 2 to get this, so that's A, and then NL, 33, so that'll be 26 squared plus 33 squared equals the x squared right here, and this is what we'll be solving for. And that's it.